protect you is going to be fascistic. And it will only...
Do people remember when Trump was running and he said, I'll only be a dictator for one day? Yeah. I mean, he said he was referring to immigration, and it likely was, but this clip of what Glenn Beck is saying, he said they're going to, when Donald Trump goes to try to protect you, they're going to call him a fascist. See, the way I see it, where we stand right now, somebody has to shift things back into balance so that we're operating under the Constitution. Do you realize they're actually targeting to kill ICE agents? Yeah, there were snipers that, I forget where it was. I don't know if the media talked about it, but they ambushed a couple of them, and they shot one of them in the neck. So they had this explosive go, I forget where it was, you can look it up, but it was fireworks or something outside of one of their buildings, and so they went out to look, and from the woods there were snipers, and they shot one of the ICE agents in the neck, and luckily he lived. Here's the thing, in the big beautiful bill, ICE is now the biggest and most largest funded police force in America. They are. That's why no Democrat voted for it, because, they're always wanting to defund the police and defund ICE. Well, ICE is now bigger than any other law enforcement, bigger than everything else. That's how much money is going to it. So, and yet, look at what's going on. The Supreme Court said that the lower courts cannot interfere with Trump's executive orders to deport. They're still doing it. These lower courts are still putting in injunctions. So we don't have courts operating the way they're supposed to. We don't, Glenn Beck is right, the Islamists, the communists, all of the ones, everything they say that Trump is, and he's not, they are all working together. Look at this dude in New York, and he'll likely get voted in, and he's a straight up communist. I mean, everything he talks about is communistic. He might as well say that's what he is. But this is, and Glenn Beck said, he said they want to overthrow Israel, America, and Europe. That's exactly what they're trying to do. It's why Europe is having a bunch of problems. Part of the problems Europe has is because their politicians are allowing it. You see the paramilitary operation right now that is trying, Tucker, Candace Owens, they are working a paramilitary operation. They are deliberately trying to destabilize America. They are. That's the reason they push this hate Israel. It's like trying to kill two birds with one stone. That's Glenn's right. It's Israel, America, and Europe. They're all trying to take out. And those people, even though you think, that's why I can't stand them. I can't stand them. It's like for them to ever say they're about America is disgusting. Because they're deliberately, they've just been very subtle about it, but now they're getting more boisterous about their attacks on Israel, and you're made to think they're about America first. No, they're not. No, they're not. It's all part, they're all part of this, wanting to destabilize America. So at some point, I think Trump's going to have to do something. I don't know what that something is, if that's handed over to the military, because things have to shift back into place. I don't know how you get out of being under all the communism without having to take over as a dictator and take back and then shift things back in place, if that makes sense. And the left, just like they all do, is going to call him a fascist, is going to call this, look, the old Democrat Party, they don't even have control of their party. It's the AOC Bernie Sanders crazy off the rails communist party now, okay? And they are not going to stop. So all I could think listening to this clip of Glenn Beck's is how Donald Trump said, I'm just going to be a dictator for one day, is because to get all the illegals out, to get order back in place so that we can start back under the Constitution from a place where we should be. Because otherwise, What are we going to do? Go round and round like this for the next 3.5 years? I mean, the left literally thinks they should be targeting ICE. They see them as the enemy. They can't understand that Americans voted that we do not want illegal aliens here anymore. I don't care if you like it or not. We're not saying we don't want immigrants. We don't want illegals here anymore. So we voted for that. They don't care. They are sick. They are twisted. They are communist. And everything that they say about Trump is what they are. So I think there's a reason that Trump had said that I'll only be a dictator for one day, because I don't see how else you fix any of this. If somebody can think of a way, then tell me, but I don't see how you do. I don't see, I mean, our Constitution is barely hanging by a thread at this point, okay? And yet all these people do is continue to work against him, and then you have the paramilitary operation of Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, all these people that are deliberately trying to not only destabilize us, but destabilize Israel, and they're using Hamas talking points and Hamas propaganda. There's just all of these things that are just, and there's so much propaganda now that there's gonna have to be some military grabbing onto it to get it back, to restore it back into place. And even though I would never want a dictator, I just don't see how you can do that without having to have, nope, this is what we must do. And so the left will go crazy over that, because look at how they're going crazy right now. But we can't get back. Our Constitution wasn't about communism. It wasn't about all this bullshit that Democrats took it to, okay? Granted, many Americans took their eye off the ball, okay? And then you have all of the universities and even the schools that have no longer been teaching the right history about America. All of that was designed to destabilize America. But in order for us to get America back on the road it needs to be, I mean, as far as back operating under the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, I don't see how you do it without Trump having to have, or the military, a heavy hand at some point, and no longer having to listen. I don't even know why they have to listen to these lower courts when the Supreme Court already ruled. But what do you do when these judges are going to go against the Supreme Court's ruling? Then they need to be arrested. I don't know that there's anything in place, because again, in order to operate under our Constitution, it takes the very people that are in their seats or are in, the different branches to honor our Constitution. There's these judges, they don't care because they're just communists. So I'm not saying that's what Trump's going to do. I just don't see what other options there is, because otherwise we're just going to keep going round and round for the next 3.5 years. At some point, order needs to be put back in place, and anybody thinking it's okay, and the left thinks that it's okay to target ICE agents, they need to be put behind bars.